What is happening, everybody? It is Sunday morning, and we are here again with another episode of the Blitz, Week 9. We are already in that final stretch right here. We're heading to Titletown. Most of us are anyways, especially if you've been listening to Blitz this season. With me on my left, I got my man Alex. What is happening today, my friend?
What's up, guys? Nothing much. It's going to be an interesting one. Lots of people out, lots of things going on in the NFL. So, yeah, I don't know.
And then on my left right here, I got my other guy here, my man Justin. What is happening this morning, Justin? How we doing? We ready to get that title yet, buddy?
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm ready to get the title in a couple leagues, and I'm ready to end the season early in a couple leagues. But most of them, I'm having fun battling. So yeah, we're right there. But just to answer your question ahead of time for a lot of these, I don't know because they're all game time decisions.
Right. And the other one, that I'm seeing a lot of today is the C-Mac quandary. I can tell you right now, my answer is probably going to be C-Mac in a lot of those instances, just because he's one of those dynamic guys. But we can get to that later. As always, follow us at toiletstotitles.com. We got some of the best writers in the industry out there. These guys are just breaking ground with article after article. It's just the best. You're going to want to love it. You're going to get on there. And then while you're on there, you might as well just click the link to get on the Patreon. $3 a month gets you guys in the Discord, which is a really fun Discord. There's a lot of advice being dropped in there, a lot of good conversations happening in there. I'm definitely a big fan of the Discord. The more and more we get, the more and more better it gets, the more active it gets. $5 a month gets you entry into the Frankenstank. $10 a month puts us into your pocket basically anytime. I mean, we got guys going all 24 hours a day. When we go to bed here in America, we got our boys in Australia just waking up, ready to give you some of the best advice, because those guys are also amazing. And if you're not following it, Down Under Dynasty, that is where it's at for our Aussie boys. Okay, enough of that intro crap, guys. You guys ready to just get into this? Let's get into week 9, huh?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We got the first one coming from @Rafty518. He says, Van Jefferson versus Tennessee or Christian Kirk versus San Francisco?
It's going to be Christian Kirk for me with D-Hop out. I know Kyler Murray's probably not going to play either, but Kirk will probably still be the 1A, with AJ Green. So I think I like his shot better to have a more of a floor than Van Jefferson. So that's probably who I'd go with.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Without Derrick Henry, it's going to be a tough game for the Titans. Rams probably aren't going to have to be super efficient in the passing game. They're probably going to lean a little bit more on the running game. Still should be a good close game. I think it should be a battle. It'll be fun to watch, but I'm right there with you. I think Kirk is the better talent, and if for whatever reason Murray does play, I feel like that takes away that ankle is taking away his mobility. He's going to be more likely to stand in the pocket and try to get a pass off. Maybe not necessarily good for Kyler Murray owners, but anytime the ball's in the air, it's always better for the receiving option.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'll maybe lean a little bit heavier on that running game as well. I think I see a pretty big game out of Connor today as well. But I do like Christian Kirk's odds, I think. And with D-Hop is still kind of a up in the air kind of guy. And I believe AJ Green is out for COVID. Is that correct still?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I thought AJ Green was out today. I thought he was on that COVID list. Anyways, I love me some Christian Kirk today. Van Jefferson's a little bit too hit or miss for me yet. So I'm definitely going with the consistency. Yeah, so AJ Green is out for COVID.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that gives me another big tick up for Christian Kirk there.
Yep.
We got Annie at Johnny Mohawk. He says Khalil Herbert, Cordarrelle Patterson, or Zach Moss today.
Well,
go ahead.
Like I've been saying for the last couple weeks, I'm not sitting Patterson until he stops doing what he's doing. So that's easy Cordarrelle Patterson for me. And I'd like Khalil Herbert too, as a play, but David Montgomery might be coming back, and that's the Monday night game. So, it's going to be a hard one if you don't have Herbert and Montgomery, I'd be really scared about leaving Herbert in your lineup until Monday to find out, if Montgomery's going to play. But it looks like he's going to. So, but I'm going with Patterson. I think he's far and above the one here.
Yeah, and even if you do have Montgomery and Herbert, if you're fortunate to have enough to have both, let's say Montgomery does play, I mean, neither one of them individually, I think, are going to be as good as Cordell Patterson will be by himself. And then, so yeah, that's definitely the safe play. Yeah, you want to roll with Patterson, and unfortunately, Zach Moss still has a Singletary problem that keeps taking away too many opportunities from him. Or else Zach Moss would be probably the better option, but I'm going to go with Patterson.
I do like me some Zach Moss as well today, but I'm with you. I think Cordell Patterson is definitely the play here, just for the simple reason that the volume this guy's been getting is too big to ignore. He's just been, he's been all over the field. He's been their only guy that's been producing for him. So definitely want to get in on that. We got our man Steve, Uncle Steve. What's happening, man? He says, "Good morning, kids. We hope all is well." And I still think I'm older than him, but we'll just digress. He says, pick one today: Jordan Howard, Javonte Williams, Rondell Moore, or Dalton Schultz.
Go ahead, Justin. You take this one.
I'd want to take this one too.
Pick one. Okay, so I do really like Dalton Schultz. It's kind of hard to pass him up right now, but I have a feeling I know which league he's talking about, and that is not a league. Kind of hard to start a tight end over a running back here, but not sold on his running back options. Javonte Williams has a tougher matchup this week. Howard is 2 touchdown dependent. Rondell Moore without Kyler Murray, man, you're in a tough situation here because Rondell Moore's a little bit different than what we were saying about Christian Kirk earlier. Christian Kirk is the more consistent. That's why he's a little bit safer. Rondell Moore is the more big play. I don't know how big play you can get without Kyler Murray there. I hate to say it, Steve, but I think I'm probably going to lean towards Dalton Schultz in this as well. I just don't like any of those other options. Like, maybe if you twist my arm enough, you might be able to talk me into Javonte Williams. So we'll see what Alex has to say.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Dalton Schultz as well. Dak is back. Him and Dak have had a rapport unlike any other since Jarwin tore his ACL. Well, I mean, Dalton Schultz just been involved in the offense ever since Jarwin tore his ACL last year. He's been the guy there. And now with Dak back, I think that, that comes back and he, probably good chances for a touchdown. But Javonte would definitely be my second choice, but I'm going to go with Dalton Schultz as well.
I had to make sure you saw that.
Yeah, the specific shout out from the T2T team. Exactly. Let's kick Kenny's ass. I don't even know Kenny, and I already don't like Kenny. I'm just going to say that.
Kenny's at home, but I need him to lose this week.
Well, that being said, I still don't care. I hope Kenny loses, and I hope he loses bad today. I hope he gets like an 88. For me, it's actually Javonte Williams. I do believe in his volume. I believe he's been the guy that's actually been breaking out of that backfield. But I'm outvoted here, Dalton 2-1. So definitely want to go with the guys and lean with that one. We got Dustin. What's up, Dustin? How we doing this morning? We got Ozzy as well. Ozzy Medina, welcome to the show. We got our boy Rich also. He likes Kirk being out there. Or being out. I'm not sure what he means by that. We got Lindsay K saying good morning. Good morning, Lindsay. Welcome to the show as well. And then Dustin has a question for us. He says, Damian Harris or James Conner today? He said, Coach already answered in the Patreon, which everyone should just join for $3. Really, what did you spend on $3? I bet you can't even go to a dollar store and buy something for less than $3 anymore these days as far as everything goes. So probably the best and only time you'll be spending $3 this month.
Yeah, so I hate Patriots running backs by rule in general, and just because of the inconsistency by the coaching staff. But with Harris so far, it's been tough to bench him in any situation. Now he's facing a pretty tough Panthers defense. So again, I want to go back to what Mike said earlier about how much they're probably going to lean on that running game for the Cardinals without Murray in there. So I'm actually going to go with Conner, even though I kind of haven't been able to bench Harris much this season. Kind of feel like I need to this week in this situation.
Yeah, I actually saw this one on the Patreon, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to respond, so I just didn't respond because it's so close.
It'll just go away.
Yeah, I'm like, someone else will answer it. I'm like, but I figured he'd come on and ask it because he watches the Blitz every Sunday too. So, but I think I'm with you. I think I'm with you, Justin. I'm gonna go with James Conner as well. He's been money ever since week 3 or 4. He's been scoring touchdowns. I know that it's on, pretty low volume. But until he stops scoring touchdowns, I'm probably going to roll with him. And with Murray being out, I think they lean on that run game a little bit more than normal. So I think he gets a little bit more run between the 20s and not just in the red zone. So that'll help rack up some stats for him as well. I love Harris too. That's why Harris has been getting, the workhorse kind of, work for the most part. I mean, you get a couple of those other guys sprinkled in here and there, but he's been, out there for the majority of snaps. So, but I'm going to go with Connor until he stops scoring touchdowns.
And I'm on the same page with both of you guys. I mean, I completely agree. I think with Kyler Murray being a little bit hindered on the ability to run that football, I think that really is going to be a huge upgrade for Connor, as you're used to seeing, Kyler Murray go out there and get, the 30, 50 yards per game, that this is going to actually probably spill over to Connor, who has already been having a pretty decent season. So I feel like they're going to have to rely on that run game. And I also agree with Steve. The VIP is only $10. I mean, you're almost not. That's less than a car wash. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, people, get out there.
Well, he only thinks that because he's used to only getting my shitty advice. Now he gets advice from people that he can trust.
Now he also gets my shitty advice.
Yeah, I was going to say he gets all of our shitty advice.
We got Rich. He agrees. He likes Connor with Murray being out. And then he liked Patterson, and so did Dustin. We got Lindsay. She's worried. She says Zach Moss or Darrell Williams. You were scared to play Moss. Or Darrell Williams, sorry, but still same guy. What are you guys thinking here? I know who I'm thinking.
I'm thinking Zach Moss for this one. The Green Bay's run defense has been stout lately, and I'm a Packers fan, so I don't want it to make it sound like I'm being biased, but I watched them last year, and I watched everybody just run and run and run on them. This year with Devondre Campbell up the middle, he's actually the high by PFF, I think it is. It's the highest graded run defending inside linebacker, and he has been a beast. So Darrell Williams kind of scares me today. Like I wouldn't trust him much with that Kansas City run game. It's not very good to begin with, and then you're going up against the this run defense. So I would go Zach Moss here because he's definitely in line for he's possible to get a touchdown too. I don't think Darrell Williams gets it.
Yeah, and honestly, Derek Gore kind of emerged a little bit last week, and there's a good chance that he's going to be taking on more of a workload this week. And Lindsay, don't be scared to start Moss just because we compared him to other different people in a different situation, because it was just that situation. I actually really do like Moss. I like him a lot. I have him in a lot of leagues, and I'm starting him in a lot of spots. It was just that particular situation back there. We didn't like him as much. But Daryl Singletary is just enough of a problem to take away some opportunity, but he's not enough of a problem for me to want to sit Moss. I know I got the head tilt. Is that because Singletary's supposed to be the starter? Like what's the head tilt?
You called him Daryl Singletary.
Oh, well, I saw the Daryl.
Yeah, no, that's why.
Okay. You looked at me like my Labradoodle does when he has no idea what I'm talking about.
That's awesome. So for me, I like Zach Moss in this instance as well. I mean, I've got a little bit of a different angle, and that's because of Frank Gore Jr. that is on that Kansas City Chiefs team. I really think that guy is pretty much taking over that backfield slowly but surely. I think he's got the guy with the best look. Andy Reid loves that hot hand approach. So for me, I'm kind of fading Darrell this week as far as that goes. And I like getting Zach Moss. And I mean, I'm hoping that we're playing him in our flex or something to that effect. I hope we're not like rolling him out as an RB2 right here. But definitely a flex worthy consideration for me today, Lindsay. We got Joey Perps. He says Landry, Sutton, Debo, or more. We got to pick 2 PPR guys.
DJ
Which more is it?
Or
I'm assuming we're talking about in this list. It's got to be Ron, or it's got to be DJ, right?
Joey, are you on YouTube, Joey?
Yeah, Joey, you got some clarification here on which Murray this is?
Eli Moore already played, so we can probably cancel that one out.
Yeah, but Rondale or
right,
because
we need more.
Maybe. All right, let's just answer it twice. So I'm going with Debo and Landry if it's Rondell. And I'm going with if it's DJ, I'm going with DJ and Landry. I know Landry's still kind of coming off of that injury. He did still play last week. they have a decent matchup this week. Without Odell there, he's the number one. Peoples is probably going to be a better other guy on the other side than OBJ was. So in my mind anyway, at this point in their careers. So I kind of hope that offense will open up a little bit more. So
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, nope, I completely agree. For me, it's actually Debo and DJ or Debo and Landry as well. I do love Landry. I think that you're going to see Baker Mayfield maybe try to set an example to what the volume can look like coming from him as a quarterback. Just kind of throw one little last jab at Odell Beckham Jr. before he gets signed with the Seahawks, is who I think he's going to be going to. So for me, it's those two. If it's DJ, like I said, I love me some DJ Moore weekend. So he does say from Cardinals down here. So it is Rondell Moore. So for me, it's Debo and Landry. Joey.
So you guys aren't worried about the Debo injury? Isn't he a game time decision?
He is a GTD. So I can easily fade him out because he doesn't Landry play after him today. Actually, I think they
play the same time.
Though I see what you're saying.
Actually, DJ plays before, or Landry plays before Debo. Yeah, see, the Debo injury kind of scares me off of him. I think if he's playing, I'm gonna play him. But I'm gonna pivot here, and I'm going Sutton over Landry and Rondale. Sutton's been a stud, and I know they're going up against Dallas, and he's probably gonna have Trayvon Diggs on him. But I think Teddy's smart enough and conservative enough to, only take those big shots when he's, take one of those deep shots, if it's a 50-50 ball. But I still like Sutton, even over the Trayvon Diggs in the matchup, because he's a monster out there. So I would play Debo and Sutton if Debo's going to go. If we get any weird news, I guess it won't. You can't do that because Landry plays first. So
yeah, so I thought they were dangerously close in my opinion. So I did not realize that Debo was a game time decision. That's enough. So play it safe. I'm with you, Alex. Sutton and Landry.
Yeah. Yep, you actually twisted my mind too, because I forget that he did have that. It's a hammy, right? So even then, or no, it's a calf. It's a calf on him. Same difference though. I mean, it's a high ability or a high probability of re-injure and things like that. I got to step away. So I'm with you, Sutton and Landry by process of deduction. We got Dustin saying Javonte or Schultz today.
We just answered this, didn't we?
I'm feeling like maybe he was answering that question from earlier, and he was saying that those are his choices.
Oh, those would be his choices.
Gotcha. Rich likes Moss over Williams, and he likes Moss and Standards. So, yep, we're with you. And she's like, Damian is fire. I agree with that as well. Let's go with Cooper and Lamb are dealing with injuries. Both will play, but it does open up opportunities for Schultz. I agree with that, Rich. I think that you still are going to be playing with these guys in there, but I think Schultz does get going. I'm not. I'm looking at this one right here. Am I holding on to Ridley in redraft? He's screwed in 2 leagues with Murray out. I'm telling you what, man, the struggle has gotten real, and a lot of these guys just kind of dropping out. But I honestly, my expectation of Ridley is I think he's not coming back this year. I think he's going to pull a Michael Thomas and just be gone. What do you guys think about this one?
I might hold on to him for another week just to see if any more news comes out about whether he's going to try to come back at all this year. But, I mean, we're too far in, and if you're not – sitting pretty at 8-0 or 7-1 or 6-2, you're going to need that spot for someone who can actually be in your lineup. So I'd maybe let it go to the end, through this week, but then I'm probably dropping him after that just to, like I said, just to see if maybe something else comes out. But it seems like he just, kind of ghosted everyone. So
I think too, and it also kind of depends on how deep your league is. Honestly, if Tajay Sharp, Marquez Callaway, somebody like that is out there that you really need in a pinch in a week, then maybe you might have to drop them and go pick up one of those guys. If you're in a deeper league and you're considering guys like Braxton Berrios or like Shai Smith or something like that, then yeah, don't worry about it. Just hang on to them, see what happens. So it does kind of depend on the depth of your league and, like you said, where you're at with your win-loss record. But I am holding on to him in some redraft leagues. We have seen guys that have taken themselves out in the past. Usually the NFL takes them out and they're out for several weeks, but after some rehab, they come back and finish up the season. So I guess it really just kind of depends on how he's dealing with his situation. Every situation is different. So I'm going to hold on to him if I really absolutely need a push in the playoffs or at the end of the season and hope that he comes back.
Yeah, and like I said, I love me some Calvin Ridley. And if you listen to us in the offseason, you'll know that I love Calvin Ridley coming into the offseason. But this year, like I said, I think I don't know what happened to the guy. He's not been upfront about it, which is fine. I don't really care what happened to him. It just, you could tell something deeply affected him. I feel like, I don't know. I don't think we're going to see him come back in the form we want him to come back in. I'm good walking away from this. As unfortunate as it is and as hard as it is. And it's going to be one of those things too, where you're going to drop him and you're going to see somebody in your league just scoop him up that fast. So be ready to see that, but just know that's the time bomb on their lineup. And you can, we're getting to the point where we can start looking at defenses we're going to want to play week 16, 17, 18 up in those windows.
So let's make that a more definite. Can you pull that back up there? A more definite question here, because she's saying something about she's screwed with Murray out. I'm wondering if it's because she needs to pick up a quarterback this week now. So maybe if she can just give us her options of who she's going to be dropping, or she's dropping Ridley to pick up who. Maybe we can revisit this in a minute.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Let us know on that one as well. Dustin says shitty advice is better than no advice at all. He says,
we got you.
We got Nick Hobie saying Mitchell, Judy, or Tony full PPR.
That's a good one. I'm probably going to go with the running, but Jeff Wilson's back now, but I don't think he's going to impact him too much this week. Maybe in some coming weeks, Mitchell might get affected, but I'll probably go with the running back here. He's been getting, the majority of the work in that backfield. He's, usually good for a touchdown. So I'll go with Elijah Mitchell here.
Yeah, he's banged up as well. So that's something at least to consider. I can see why this is at least a decision that you have to try to make. Judy should potentially come back and have a good game this week against the Cowboys. I could see them in a throwing situation, but again, there's a lot of question marks here, and I think that Mitchell's going to have your best floor. So I'll ride with Mitchell as well. We're not disagreeing on enough here, Mike. You're going to have to give us something to disagree on.
Honestly, I do like me some Kadarius Toney, but me, I'm a volume guy. For me, I've got to always go with where I'm going to feel that I'm going to get the absolute volume on the game. And for me, especially with say an injured Debo coming out of the gate, I really got to get on board with Mitchell. So for me, it's Mitchell. And it's honestly, with these guys, it's not even close. Although I love Judy. I love Toney. These guys are both awesome, especially for full PPR, but I've still got to go Mitchell here. We got Pat Clutch, where he's saying pick 2 non-PPR, Debo, AJ Brown, or Justin Jefferson. So who are we sitting right here? And for me, this is a no-brainer. It's Debo all day long with the calf. What do you guys got?
Yeah, with the injury, I'm fine with AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson.
Honestly, with or without the calf, I like the matchups this week for AJ Brown and Jefferson. So let's roll with it.
We're rolling with it. Ozzy Medina says PPR drop one for a kicker. He's got Wilson Jr., the Mitchell owner. He's got AJ Dillon. He's the non-Jones owner. AP, he's the McNichols owner. Renfro or Tony. Also drop any for a Madison lottery. He says 10-team, Moster 3 and 4 and 4 and 4. So what do you guys, who are we dropping here for a kicker?
If you're the McNichols owner, I wouldn't worry about I wouldn't have picked up AP in that instance. I would have played play one side or the other. I either picked up AP in leagues or I picked up McNichols and just hope, that the guy I get hit. So I would probably drop AP. It looks like you're pretty good running back wise otherwise. So that's who I would drop for a kicker.
I'm going to go a little bit different direction. I'm pretty confident that McNichols is going to be the man there. I'm very confident. And I wouldn't have picked up AP either. But now that you have them both, I feel like you probably had to spend a little fab on them. You might want to give it a week or two to check and see if you have that depth. That's fine. But I also don't really like Kadarius Toney on a week-to-week basis. And I think he's going to be a hard do I start him or do I not any given week? And I don't want to have to make that decision. But at least with McNichols and AP each week, you should have a pretty good idea at some point which one you're going to start and which one is on the outs. So I think I'm probably going to drop Tony if I'm in this situation for a kicker, but also only if I really need those kicker points. Don't forget, guys, there's always an option out there. Kickers are widely available everywhere all the time. So see who you have available that you might be able to drop on Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Are any of those players playing in those situations? And maybe you could just drop them later. So you've got or anybody on bye too. So the Bears, the Steelers, the Titans, the Rams, and then anybody on bye. If you have any of those situations, those types of players, that's another way to look at this. You can wait and see if you even need those kicker points and drop a player later. So at least it's another option to think about. But I think if I had to make a decision right now and I know I need those kicker points, I'm dropping Tony.
I actually kind of agree with that. I like, especially we're getting into that running back season time of year where we start getting a lot of injuries. We start getting a lot of volume and production because the ball just gets a little bit too cold to move around and things like that. So you got to depend on your running game a little bit more. So I love loading up with running backs on my squad. And then the AP McNichols situation, I feel like that can be, we're going to see what we want to see here in the next couple of weeks between the volume of those two guys. You already have the advantage of, you've got the Titans running back pretty well locked up in that instance. So you'll be able to drop whoever it is that isn't getting the volume or production here in the next few weeks, or even just hold on to him as a handcuff for, like I said, for another defense that you feel like has a good, strong opportunity. But yeah, Tony is kind of a headache week to week. I do love his volume and his opportunity. It's been going up and up. But the guy does seem to also find a way to find the sideline every single game. Probably about, 3/4 of the way through, something on him gets injured, a finger, a leg, something like that. So he's a little scary to me. We got Nick Hobie saying tight end streamer this week. Are we doing Henry, Ingram, or Freiermuth full PPR?
Definitely not Ingram.
I'm not on Ingram with Rudolph coming in.
Yeah, well, I'm just off Ingram because he stinks.
Friday night episode.
Yeah, he's definitely on my stink team. I'd probably go with Henry. They seem to use him the most in the passing game. I know they have Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry, but I like Henry. He's been getting solid number of targets each week. He's been falling into the end zone. I think he's a good bet for that. Freiermuth, I just don't think there's enough passing volume with Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool out there. They're the ones that are going to take all of those targets, and Najee. So I'd go with Henry.
It's reasonable to believe that the Patriots are going to have trouble getting the running game started against that Panthers run defense. Even though they've had holes this season in certain spots, their run defense has still been really solid all season. So if you can't get the run game going, what do? You throw short dump off passes, right? To those little 4 to 5 yard dump off passes or 3 yard outs to your tight end. That becomes your running game. So especially in PPR like this, I'm going to go with Henry as well.
Yep, and I completely agree. I've liked Hunter Henry all season long. He seems like he's been getting the looks that Jonnu Smith thought he was going to be getting, or everybody thought Jonnu Smith was going to be getting. So definitely like him, and I agree. I don't think they're going to have a good time getting that run game going there in New England. We got Rohan saying, sup, fellas? He needs to pick 3 in a PPR league. CD, Jefferson, Mike Williams, or Keenan Allen. Woo, that's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is.
In my head, I said yes to all of them as you were reading them, but I honestly, I think Keenan is my guy out this week. I think he's only outscored Mike Williams twice this season. He hasn't been utilized like we really like. I kind of feel like I saw the matchup beforehand because I had to set a line. Yeah, the Eagles. I see a lot of running in this game. I don't know. I think he's my odd man out. I don't really like to start 2 wide receivers from the same team. So since they're all really good, I'm gonna bank on Mike Williams being the guy again out of those 2.
Yeah. My only concern is that it seems like Mike Williams is, he was getting tons of volume at the beginning of the year, and then it looks like teams have kind of figured out how they were using them. I don't know if it's that or if it's just the passing offense efficiency has kind of shifted a little bit more towards Keenan Allen and like Austin Eckler. But so Mike Williams kind of scares me because he hasn't been seeing the same amount of targets and everything else. But I mean, I think, I don't know, CD's a little banged up right now too. So I think Justin Jefferson's a lock for me. I think CD's a lock for me. And I'm going to probably play Keenan. He's been coming on a lot more recently, the last few games. And the Eagles do have a half decent pass rush. So Justin might have to unload it a little faster today. So I'm gonna go with Keenan Allen. So Mike Williams is gonna be my sit.
I think Mike Williams is also my sit. It just hasn't really been getting down to where he's been getting the volume. I mean, man, he started off hot like a rocket and then just has cooled down. And I mean, this is just gonna set up and prime up for a resurgence or a bounce back game for the guy. But we're to the point where I can't gamble on that kind of thing happening anymore. Keenan Allen's been consistent throughout. He hasn't been getting you those Mike Williams points when Mike Williams gets you 2 touchdowns, but he has been getting you, the 14 to 20 that you're looking for, especially in a full PPR. So definitely going to have to do that. I'm definitely going to have to go with Mike Williams on my bench right there. Lindsay hit me up on Twitter on there, and she said, kind of sent me your lineup. And looking at things, I mean, that's going to be your guy, Lindsay. It's going to be the guy to drop is going to be Calvin Ridley right there. You just can't. She's got like Hubbard and things like that, and she's the CMAC owner. I mean, you're primed and ready for a good season right there. You need to back up Kyler Murray. It sucks when it sucks, but I'm dropping Calvin Ridley in that instance.
Don't drop Kyler Murray.
Do not drop Kyler Murray.
Don't drop Kyler Murray.
You don't want to. I'm Ron Burgundy when it comes to reading stuff, and I read Kyler Murray right when I said that. We got Marcos Valdez. He says half PPR. Landry, Higgins, Waddle, or Beasley. He also has Herbert or Burrow today. And so we'll start with the first one. Justin, who do you got?
Half point people. I can only start one. So and guys, I've already mentioned how much I love Landry, but I can't bench T Higgins in this situation. I like Waddle as well though, but I'm going to go with T Higgins this week, and then also Jay Herbert and you know what? Between Herbert and Burrow, I actually chose Burrow over Herbert in a league this week because of the matchup and because of Herbert having a little bit of a slump recently. I think I'm going to stack them here. I'm going to go with the Burrow and Higgins stack and hope I get a couple touchdowns out of them.
Yep, sounds good to me. Waddle would be my second choice. I know it's only half PPR, but he's still the main target out there, especially with Devontae Parker going on IR because he re-injured his hamstring. So he would be my second choice, and then probably Landry. But I'd definitely go with T Higgins. I think he's got the highest upside and probably, comparable floors to the rest of the guys. But I'm going to go with Justin Herbert on this one, and not Burrow. Because he's been in a slump, I think this week is a perfect opportunity for him to get it back on track against the Eagles defense, which is not very good. It's been all right. It's been all right. But it's not, I don't think it's enough for that Chargers offense, especially if Herbert and those receivers are on point. So I would go with Justin Herbert. You're muted.
Yes, I am. And so for me, I'm going. I have to do it at least once a week, guys. I got Landry for sure as my guy right here. I think Landry's just like I said. I feel like Baker's going to put on a clinic today, show what he can do to a receiver, just to kind of rub that last little bit of salt in the OBJ wound. And then I think Herbert for sure has a huge bounce back week. Those guys have been looking just not like themselves. I think they kind of start getting it put back together today, and I really like his matchup there. We got Joey Pups. He says Higbee or the Steelers tight end. It's just, I'm hoping it's Freiermuth, right?
Yeah. If it's not Freiermuth, then drop
Jesse
Ebron.
James. Is it
Drop
Jesse
Ebron.
James again? Oh, it's Ebron now.
Yeah, James plays somewhere else. So drop Ebron and go pick up Freiermuth, and then make this decision and still go with Higbee.
Yeah, I go with Higbee as well. And it's I think Jesse James is in Chicago now.
And
wherever it was, he actually he's
he showed up a couple times last week.
What do they call it? Oh, he not scalped a touchdoon.
Vulture.
Yeah, he vultured a touchdown off of me the last week, so I shouldn't remember this, but I don't remember which league it was.
Yeah, see, I for some reason thought I knew he left, but I thought he made his way back there on the off season. It looks like we got Tua is out today. Brissett is starting, so that definitely makes me seal in anything about me not wanting to get Waddle going in there. Jacoby Brissett has looked a lot better this year, though, for what it's worth. Nick Kobe says, who's his quarterback streamer? Nick, I just want you to know right now, real quick, I like your style, man. I love streaming quarterbacks. I love streaming tight ends. To me, it's still the way we do this thing. Is it Bridgewater, Love, or Tyrod today? And I'll start this one off. For me, Tyrod Taylor, when we get this guy on the field and a team that doesn't have a whole lot of options to get a lot of things done, I love me some Tyrod Taylor. I think they did the right thing with him and getting him rested up because I knew we were looking to get him back last week. But I think he's back in the order of things. For me, it's Tyrod Taylor.
Yep. I actually have this same decision in my main money league. And I'm going with Tyrod over Bridgewater. I've been riding Teddy for most of the year. You know, matchup dependent, but for the most part,
losing Alex there.
Are you losing me?
I didn't think so.
Oh, sorry. I must be on a lag over here. That's my bad.
Yeah, no, I've been riding Bridgewater for most of the season, you know, matchup dependent here and there, but in this league there's a bit of a quarterback shortage because one guy's hoarding a bunch of them. So, but I've been waiting for Tyrod to come back so that I could put him into my lineup over Teddy Bridgewater. So, I'm riding with Tyrod.
Yeah, I've got a few shares of Tyrod left, and there's a reason you've held on to him all this long. He has a nice, juicy schedule coming up, and including this Miami matchup. You've been licking your chops, hoping that he comes back in time for this Miami matchup. If you've been riding him this long, don't just throw Love in there at the last minute just because he gets a 1 week start, just to see what he has. Like, wait and see what he has, and see if maybe he's worth keeping later. But definitely start your Tyrod.
Excellent. Lindsay, so here's what I was referring to. She says if she holds Ridley, she's got to drop either Pollard, Hubbard, Darrell Williams, or OBJ for a quarterback. I like where OBJ might land in Seattle. That's where I have him projected. I think him over there adds that 1-2 punch that they've been kind of looking for with DK, or the 1-2-3 punch, I guess, with Lockett and Metcalf out there. So I'm still dropping Ridley here. Does this change your guys' mind? Is there any of these guys that you would drop over Calvin Ridley right now?
Honestly, I think if something happens to Zeke and Pollard gets the start, he's a stud. If something happens to CMC, you definitely need Hubbard. Darrell Williams, is that Darrell Williams, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, so Darrell Williams is already in a bad situation right now and losing carries or whatever, but that whole backfield is always iffy. But if he is the guy, he's the guy. He's a running back, so I'm not cutting the running back. But OBJ, wherever he might land, I'm not sold that he's going to be that great. Like, he would almost have to land in like one of he would have to go to Green Bay and have Aaron Rodgers as quarterback. Or I'm not wishing that upon you, Alex.
That would be funny.
Like, I feel like it has to be a very specific situation. Meanwhile, if Calvin Ridley comes back, if he gets his head straight in the next few weeks, and you have him going into the playoffs, he's shown he can still be a playmaker and change the face of your team if he comes back ready to play. Maybe he clears his shit up. But with OBJ, he's had several years to try to clear his shit up, and I don't see it getting cleared. And that's no pun on the whole number 2 issue we had with him last season. But I think I'm dropping OBJ in this situation. I'm going to keep Ridley and see what happens.
Yeah, I'd be perfectly fine with dropping OBJ. He's a bum. He stinks. He's hurt all the time.
He's on your Friday night team.
Yep. Yeah. I have been off OBJ for ever since his last year in New York, where he was just hurt. He came back, he'd get hurt. He came back, he'd get hurt. I'm done with that. I don't want to play with it. I don't think he's actually that good anymore. I know he's been getting open and whatever, but he's not getting the ball thrown to him, and when he does, he's not catching it. So I don't know where the disconnect really is, in that whole situation. I think it's OBJ, but So I'd be totally fine with dropping OBJ and hoping Ridley comes back this season and helps you with a playoff push.
And honestly, between the two of them, I just have a strong feeling if you drop either OBJ or Ridley to get a quarterback, if it's just a 1 week quarterback, and then you're going back to Murray next week, and you go back to drop that quarterback again, I think OBJ is the one that's still going to be available to you next week because I'm not so sure that he finds a team this week.
That's fair enough. And it's funny because I feel like that would be like the coup de grace to give Aaron Rodgers OBJ. Like, fine, here you go. You wanted that wide receiver too this whole time. Have some OBJ on your team. Can you imagine those two personalities conflicting right there?
Or better yet, he joins the team this week and he's still out. Rodgers is still out another week from the COVID stuff, and Love connects with him and they have an incredible game next week.
And then he gets hurt
too. In the third play.
Don't
forget, y'all, it's No Shave November. As you can see, we're not shaving. Men's Health Awareness Month. Check your junk for lumps. That's a good PSA. Get that thing out there. Or Jason Grinzel says, would you have accepted this trade? Mahomes and Bateman for Henderson?
What are you laughing at?
No, he said, check your junk for lumps. It's a good thing to get that out there. I just imagine whipping it out. Check it right now. Get it out.
Hey, why not, man? Why not?
I thought maybe Jason here was asking about a trade that you and he did or something.
Oh, no.
All right, would I accept this trade? Mahomes and Bateman for Henderson. I mean, it depends on the situation. It depends on the league. If it's a 1 quarterback league, I never make a trade to get a quarterback. I don't care. It's a 1 quarterback league. They're pretty well worthless. If it's a dynasty, then honestly, yeah, I would definitely want Mahomes in this situation. If we're talking redraft, there's just so many different variables out there that we have to consider.
Jason, give us if you can give us some more details. I'm assuming it's redraft because in Dynasty this wouldn't even be close.
Yeah.
But 1 quarterback, 2 quarterback, because I don't know. There's definitely
it's got to be single quarterback too. It's got to be.
Yeah, I guess
to me, it's single quarterback redraft, or else we're not having this conversation.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes in a super flex, that's not happening. So let's assume it's single quarterback. Let's assume it's redraft. I actually like this trade. The way Patrick Mahomes has been playing, I feel like it's probably a good time to move him. Although, he's going to turn it around eventually. But, I can't sit there and wait for eventually. And I really like what Henderson's been doing for the Rams this year.
Yeah, no. And if it's 1 quarterback, there's probably streamers out there that you can deal with for the rest of the year. And if you need the running back, Henderson's been getting tons of volume. He's been scoring touchdowns. That Rams offense has been electric. So yeah, no, I'm cool with it. If you're willing, if you can let go of Mahomes, that's a perfect way to let go of him for RB1. I'm cool with it.
I want Henderson no matter what the situation is. If it's 1 quarterback, redraft, I don't care what your team situation is. Like if Henderson is your RB5 and you're streaming quarterbacks, then I still want Henderson because running backs are that much more valuable in a 1 quarterback redraft.
Doing a lot of assuming right there, so definitely should we tell him? So definitely want to get out there and
I know we'll just not.
If you could give us a little bit more info on that would be awesome. But I think we're probably right with our assumption there. Let's see here. I think that's going to catch us up for the YouTube questions. Except we got to at least give our shout out. There's our boy Joe. What's going on, Joe? Hey, y'all. Watched your show this morning. As always, fantastic, my friend. As always, fantastic. And I think, we got Jugrog Pada says Beasley, Higgins, Landry, choose 2 for flex PPR.
Say that name again.
Jugraj Pada.
It sounds.
I hope I'm right, and I apologize for butchering your name if not, my friend.
No, it sounds badass the way you said it. Like it should be like a Star Wars name.
Exactly.
Let's see. Beasley's my guy out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Higgins and Landry here.
Yep, and same here. I'm gonna go Landry and Beasley, but I don't mind either one of those. Jason providing a little bit more depth. Single quarterback. It is a dynasty league. He has Kamara and Henderson. So he'd be moving Henderson to get Patrick Mahomes
And Bateman.
And Bateman, I love that trade. I really think that's great right there.
Yeah, dynasty changes everything.
Get the quarterback. Get the quarterback in that situation.
Yep, and to pile on Cousins as his current quarterback. Nobody wants to be there, buddy. Nobody wants to be where I like Cousins as a super flex, but I don't like Cousins as a single quarterback option.
Yeah, he'll be a good backup for you. I'd much rather have Mahomes in there, even with Mahomes playing the way he is.
Yeah.
I benched Carson Wentz this week in like half my leagues for Cousins.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Yeah.
That is no good.
Not at all.
Okay, so we can get on to these other Twitter questions. We got Jeremy McNichols or Rashard Higgins from DZ
Shikaria.
That's how you pronounce that.
Shikaria.
Shikaria.
Give me that McNichols. I feel that it's going to be people's out there that's actually going to get the biggest bump from OBJ not being there. He was already getting a bigger bump than OBJ to begin with. So McNichols was slowly becoming a guy that was being more and more involved in that offense before the Henry injury anyway. I went out and picked him up in a lot of leagues just thinking that if Henry got hurt, he'd be the guy. And the fact that they didn't go out and trade it for anybody before the trade deadline, and they didn't pick up anybody huge. They picked up Adrian Peterson, guys. Like they had to go pick him up from the nursing home on the way to the stadium just to try to get him to sign up, and they had to help him sign his name. So he's not going to be the guy. Like I'm very adamant about that. McNichols can catch the ball out of the backfield. Yes, we get that he's the third down back. You're not going to just start giving the workhorse load to a guy that has been retired for half a season. All of a sudden, like maybe towards the end of the season, he starts to gain more, but he's not going to be the workhorse. So McNichols is still going to get the majority of it. AP is going to spell him a little bit, but McNichols is the guy.
Yep, I'm with you with McNichols. Even if we knew Rashard Higgins was, gonna be the number 2 wide receiver there, I think that would put them at like even. And then I would, it's always running back over wide receiver for me, in a flex spot. So I think McNichols, but for me, it's McNichols pretty easy until we see something else, until we see that they're not going to use him like that, or we see that Rashard Higgins is going to be the new OBJ, which I don't want him to be the new OBJ anyway.
Right. 0 targets for 0 yards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay with that too.
I mean, then he's already the OBJ. So,
right.
But yeah, McNichols for me.
Yep, volume all the way, baby. Volume all the way. So that's Jeremy McNichols for me as well. This question kind of pops up again right here, guys. He's got C.D. Jefferson, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. Let's throw in Cooper Kupp in the mix.
Oh, it would still – so pick 3 with Cooper Kupp
Cooper Kupp in that line.
Yeah, I think that makes it easier for me. I'm getting rid of both of the Chargers receivers.
Yep. Me too.
For me, I'm going to still go with Keenan, Jefferson, and then for sure Cooper Kupp. We're not sitting Cooper Kupp ever. That will never be. Even if he's injured, I might play Cooper Kupp at this point because that guy has just been nothing but lights out all season long. We got at T-Man7101 says, even if D-Hop is a go, how worried would we be that between the Hammy and a Colt McCoy at center?
Yeah, it scares me a lot. I've been trying to find alternatives, and because like even if it was Kyler Murray being in there, the way D-Hop was coming in and out of the game last week, he actually I was reading somewhere that coaches didn't put him back in the game. He put himself back in the game last week because they needed him out on the field just to either be a decoy or make those the third down, the possession catches and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't like him and the hamstring, and I know he wants to play through, and I know he's a soldier, but yeah, I'm trying to find an alternative for D-Hop if I possibly can.
Hey, James Robinson is officially out, so we have that. We have that going for us. Yeah, we kind of saw that coming. But yeah, so then D-Hop comes in, like you were talking about. He hits that 11-yard route for the first down, like a big crucial play, and then he just hobbles right back off the field and chills out for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
hilarious. But no, I mean, yeah, you're concerned. You're very concerned. Unfortunately, though, it's D-Hop, so if he plays, it's kind of like you just have to understand that you're not going to get a typical D-Hop game out of him, and then you're probably starting him. I mean, it really depends on your other options, I guess, but most likely you still have to start him, and you just have to hope for the best.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
hopefully it looks like he's going to be out. So maybe they'll just rule him out altogether and we don't have to worry about it. I'm hoping because I have him all over the place.
Yeah, you can't sit him. You cannot sit him. Dustin says, fantastic shitty advice as always. First time he's ever got the bird flip they have. Keep following us. We'll get you. Patreon. $3. He's not lying to you.
Hey,
folks.
man, that's
He is
because
not
you're
lying.
part of the Patreon, so you're a part of the team now, so we treat you that way.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, no special treatment for you anymore.
You should see some of the private chat between us, man. It can get pretty damn brutal. We got the only Aussie also says, oh, no, we actually already answered that one. He asked live on YouTube.
Nice.
You got at Jason161 with Carson and Henry on IR. He needs to start 2 of these 3. Hubbard, Booker, McNichols. Help.
Ooh, well, if CMC plays today, Hubbard's going on the bench for me. I know he'll probably still get some work, but Saquon's already out, so Booker and McNichols are going to be, get that extra volume over Hubbard. So I'd go Booker and McNichols.
Yeah, I agree, and I do think that CMC probably has a good shot at going. If CMC is out, then then Hubbard has the Patriots. I still kind of feel like I'm going to lean towards Booker and McNichols. So I'm going to play it safe just in case I miss that game time decision and just play with Booker and McNichols.
Yep, same here. Even with Hubbard out there, yeah, he got us a pretty good week last week. But this week I just can't depend on that guy, and especially with C-Mac showing back up. And I do believe he plays myself. So I am definitely out on Hubbard. So give me some Booker, give me some McNichols. We got at Harry Turnips. He says, to start Kittle coming back off of injury or not, he'd be over Goddard in the tight end spot or Javonte Williams at the flex, non-PPR.
No.
Please throw your Harry Turnips away, please.
Hey, but check him first.
Yes, check him first.
Check your Harry Turnips for lumps. Yep.
We don't want lumpy Harry Turnips.
That's right.
I think in this situation, I would just let Kittle sit on my bench for another week. You got Goddard in the tight end spot. That's pretty solid. And you got Javonte going at flex. I don't think Kittle's going to come back and be, a target monster. And I think Javonte has the safer floor, especially Kittle coming back off the injury. So I would probably just leave it the way it is and give Kittle that extra week. It seems like he can. So.
Yeah, I think this is essentially just Kittle or Williams, and like I said, it's close enough for me. If it's that close, I always go with the running back. Let's see what Kittle has before you jump all in.
And again, I disagree. I really like me some Kittle. Anytime Kittle decides he's going to get on that football field, I'm going to play Kittle. So I like Kittle and Goddard right there. Although I do love always volume. This time for me, I think Kittle's going to get that volume, especially if we don't see Debo on the field. But I feel like if Kittle says he's a go, I think Kittle's good to go, and he's going to be fantastic. We got at Jason Feckett. He says, I'm already loaded at wide receiver. Should I roster Jarvis Landry or Rashad Bateman for the rest of the season?
Landry.
Yep.
Yeah, Landry. And I do like Bateman, but he's obviously talking redraft because he says rest of the season. So Landry. Yep,
I like Landry rest of the season a lot. I do like Bateman a lot too, but if it's between these two, it's not even really all that close to me. Right. I do love love me some
I actually
Landry.
had both of them in my main money league, and if I had to make that choice, I would drop Bateman, but it would break my heart. I'm glad it's a deeper league and I can hang on to guys that are worthless.
Absolutely. We got at Sting B11. He says Superflex PPR pick 1. We got Taysom Hill, Darius Slayton, Tim Patrick. His team is decimated with injuries. Frowning face. Brutal.
What are these?
Yeah, Darius Slater. This is like the
Tom
Walmart version of the NFL football.
Are these generic versions of these?
No, you know what this is like? This will give you guys an idea of what it's like for me on Monday nights doing the waiver wire episode, trying to read Nate's notes on players and how he has names and he spells it all weird and stuff.
He's got nicknames for everyone. How
Darius Slater.
is all he does is sit at home and think of freaking nicknames for people?
Yeah, no, it's not even that. We'll be talking in the offseason. We'll talk about college players that he's never even heard of, and all he needs to do is hear the name, and he spouts off some crazy ass nickname. Then he remembers it. Like 3 years later, they're in the NFL, and he remembers it. Like, I don't understand this dude. But that's why we love Nate.
That's a fact.
So what was it again?
Superflex PPR, pick one. I probably would take the upside on Taysom Hill. I know Trevor Siemian is the one that's set up to start, but if Taysom's back, because I think he's back, he's just not considered the starting quarterback. They're gonna use him as a gadget guy, and we've seen before. He could go for 3 carries and 3 yards and 3 touchdowns, like easy peasy. So I would probably take the chance on the highest upside, which would be Taysom Hill. I think I actually am in one league where it's a pretty deep league. I think it's like 3 flex and a super flex, and I picked up Taysom hoping I could play him as the super flex. And at this point, my bench is kind of thin, so I'm like screw it. It's kind of these same guys, Tim Patrick, Darius Slayton, those kind of guys, and I'm like I'd rather have Taysom Hill in there.
Yeah, all 3 of them are touchdown dependent, and one of them is a lot more likely to score a touchdown than the other 2. So it's Taysom Hill. He's probably just as likely to score 3 touchdowns as the other 2 are to get 1. So yeah, it's got to be Taysom.
Yep, especially when they get in that red zone, they like to lean on Taysom Hill a lot. I do love me some Slater and some Tom, but for me, we're definitely going to be just going with the Taysom Hill
AC
approach.
Slater?
That's AC Slater, of course.
Oh,
dude.
well, that changes everything.
Yeah, I'm starting AC Slater over Zach Morris any day of the week.
Yes.
And I don't care if Jesse likes it or not. At Sutton Defense, at Sutton Def, he says, should he start Keenan Allen today or Brandon Cooks?
Ooh,
Remember, we got Tyrod hucking the ball.
Yeah, let's go with Brandon Cooks. Why not?
Yep.
Let's go big or go home.
Yep, I'm cool with that. I think they're both good starts today. Chargers are going against the Eagles. Like I said, not the best matchup in the world, but not the worst matchup. But Brandon Cooks is going against Miami. Again, their secondary on paper looks like, should be really good, but they've been giving up, plays here and there. And with Tyrod coming back, I'm totally fine with rolling Brandon Cooks out there.
I like Brooks.
We mix them there. But yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like, I've been excited about this comeback for Tyrod because they're playing the Dolphins. And if he does make a big comeback, it's going to be because guys like Brandon Cooks had a big game. So let's do it.
Yep, I feel like you're playing a little bit of Russian roulette here, but I'm willing to spin the thing and let's roll the dice. Let's get out there, boys. Let's roll some Brandon Cooks. He's due, in my opinion, as well, although Keenan Allen is definitely shaping up to be due as well. I do like the quarterback play out of the Chargers better, but I don't like their matchup. We got Agent Gary Banks. He says, who are you starting at running back 2? Chase Edmonds at San Francisco, James Conner at San Francisco, or Darrell Williams versus Green Bay? Who are we playing, boys?
For me, it's James Conner. He's the one that has the better touchdown upside. They get inside the red zone, and they go with Conner more so than Edmonds, it seems like, almost every time. And then Darrell Williams, just like Alex said earlier, the Packers' defenses, their defensive line, their run defense anyway, has gotten a lot better the last several weeks, and we can't trust that run game for the Chiefs. So for me, it's James Conner.
Yep, it would be between one of the Cardinals guys. I think Edmonds gets about what he normally gets, which is good. It's good RB2 numbers. But like you said, with James Conner, he's got the touchdown upside because he is going to be the guy they use in the red zone. But I think Conner gets a little bit more work outside the red zone today with if Kyler doesn't go. So yeah, no, I'm with you on James Conner. I like him. He's been solid, this year with those touchdowns, man.
Yeah, especially if you need that upside. If you just need a safe floor bet, then yeah, just stick with Edmonds. But if you think you need that upside, we're going with Conner.
Yeah, then I like the volume that Connor represents today as well. For me, that's who I stole in the Frankenstink this week, and I love it. So yeah, give me some Connor all day, and I stole him for this reason, for the matchups that we're getting with him, and they're starting to shape up, especially with Murray giving us some bad looks. We got at Slimmer825. He says start 2 PPR, or yes, 2 point. Let's say just start 2 PPR. Booker, Sutton, Claypool, Landry, Bateman, Kirk, Myers, or McNichols. Holy mama, that's a lineup.
Okay, I can take out Myers. I feel like I can take out Claypool at this point.
Same.
I see some more consistency.
Take out Bateman.
There you go.
Take out Kirk.
I'm cool with that.
So
that leaves us with
Booker, Sutton, Landry, McNichols.
Okay, that's a little easier.
Yeah, I'm okay with picking from those because I think those would be my top 4.
I can't bench Landry this week.
Yeah, you guys are all over Landry.
Yeah,
I like him, but
I really think that McNichols is going to be the guy, and I think he's going to show it this week. I'm going to go with Landry and McNichols.
Absolutely. With I like Landry and I like McNichols as well. I think that's where I'm leaning too. I think you processed elimination that perfectly for me.
I'm gonna pivot. I'm gonna go. I still like. This is tough. Landry McNichols I think is a solid choice, but I don't know how I keep Sutton out of my lineup. Sutton has been awesome all year, so that's where it would come in for me. I would probably do Landry and Sutton. So Sutton over McNichols for you guys, but I can't get Sutton out of my lineup. So
yeah, I can definitely respect that. Like, I definitely appreciate the angle there because I do love me some Broncos and some Sutton. I just really feel like I like the opportunities of Landry a lot. Like I said, I have a feeling that today Baker Mayfield's going to use and abuse him just to prove his point right there. We got 808DO13. He says, should he start A.J. Brown, Claypool, or McNichols in his flex spot?
A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, don't get fancy with it.
Nope. Don't overthink that one.
Yeah, that's not one to overthink. If you're ever going to overthink one, that is the guy, dude. A.J. Brown has just been balling out the past few weeks. I do expect that to continue as well. Next one up, we got at Heavy Metal Teddy says League One, full PPR needs 1 tight end and a flex. Ertz, Schultz, or Javonte Williams? Who we sitting?
Ertz.
I'm sitting Ertz as well.
Yep. Definitely Schultz and Javonte. I like the work that, Ertz has been getting some looks in, Arizona, but I don't think I would play Ertz over Javonte because Schultz is definitely going to be in my tight end spot, but I think Javonte has better chance for volume than Ertz does. So,
yeah, I can agree with that.
Yep, I like that. And then so League Two, he says full PPR needs a running back and a flex. Booker, Gordon, or Mike Davis? Who are we sitting? And for me, this is a no-brainer. Mike Davis is out.
Yep, Mike Davis, go home.
Okay. Well, I did not realize that he was out officially, so let me check a line.
No. For me, Mike Davis is out. He's not out officially. For me, he's out. He's out on that list. I don't know like anything.
All right.
Mike Davis has had one good game in my opinion.
Yeah, I
just haven't liked what he's been doing.
Believe it or not, I do have a league where I'm still desperately in need of Mike Davis to not get vultured by Patterson every damn week. So you had me a little worried there. But okay, so but yeah, no, because I own Mike Davis. Because I own Mike Davis, I can assure you that is the smart decision. Don't play him.
Yeah, he's too much of a headache week in, week out. I'm back to the comment on there with 808. He says his overthink is because of the Rams defense, whereas Claypool has the Bears, but McNichols will have the volume there, the bull catch run with Henry out. So for me, it's still I'm still leaning AJ Brown, man. I can't sit AJ Brown. I like McNichols' opportunity today, but dude, AJ Brown's just one of those next level talents in my opinion.
Yep. Yeah. He's above, the matchups don't necessarily matter to me when it's AJ Brown. He's in that tier of talent. So yeah, you're overthinking it. Just go with AJ Brown.
Yep.
And even with the matchup of the Rams, let's say he has Jalen Ramsey on him. Jalen makes big plays from time to time, but he's not the absolute best at coverage either. He lets big plays go because of his risk as well. And then you got to figure without Henry back there, they're going to have to lean a little bit more heavily on the pass, at least. Like at the very least, they're going to roll out Tannehill a lot more, and you're going to have more time for him to create some room in that secondary. So, and they're going to be. I mean, I'm assuming. I'm assuming here. I know I'm a Colts fan, so like I see how good the Titans are, and I don't want to believe they're that good. But I've fallen for the Rams. I got to believe that the Rams are going to have the lead here. The Titans are going to have to throw the ball. There's a lot of things that are adding up that suggest to me that AJ Brown's going to have a big game.
Absolutely agree with that as well. We got at Peniolo Paul. He says, never thought he'd ask advice on this, but here we go. Says, does he flex Carlos Hyde versus the Bills or Julio Jones versus the Rams? Half PPR.
Ooh.
That's ugly, man.
I can't do Hyde against the Bills. That's a tough sell because I feel like he's going to get you about 6 fantasy points, and
maybe
I don't know that's like, even if Julio bust, he's going to get you close to what Hyde's going to get. So yeah, I don't want to do it, but I'm going to play Julio.
Yeah,
tell me you're the Derrick Henry owner without telling me you're the Derrick Henry owner is all I'm saying to this right here. Yeah, for me it's Julio Jones for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to endorse either one of these, but I guess I gotta have to go with Julio. Yeah, Carlos Hyde is washed.
Yeah.
Don't start him.
Absolutely amazing football player historically, so we're not backing up in the guy.
No, just nowadays it's not. He's definitely not the same. He's not the same player anymore.
Always respected that man, but we got to go with the other washed-up guy and pick Julio here.
What happened to the San Francisco running back game, right? Like they used to be able to produce these legendary running backs that just last forever. And now they can't get a running back to make it through 2 plays. Like
Kyle Shanahan happened in that new turf that they play on that they also getting hurt on.
Blame the Shanna turf. I see how it is.
Go.
We got at Colony Pats fans. He says more fantasy football advice needed, guys. He needs one running back. McCaffrey. He's not 100%. Herbert or Gordon. I will take a 50% Christian McCaffrey over a 100% Herbert or Gordon any day of the week. How about you guys?
Yep.
C-Mac.
Now, if for whatever reason C-Mac doesn't play, then you have a decision to make, and I'm going to go with Gordon just because I believe that Montgomery will be back and there's going to be a split there. Even though Herbert's proven that he deserves to have more workload there, I feel like they're still going to let Montgomery have a decent amount there. So I think I'm going to go with Gordon if C-Mac is out.
If C-Mac doesn't play, I would go Herbert because I don't think Montgomery's going to come back and get his full workload. I think Herbert has definitely shown that he deserves to be a part of the offense, which is going to be a pain in the butt because I'm a Herbert owner in a lot of places. Not a Monty owner in a lot of places, but I picked up Herbert when he went out, and so it's going to be kind of annoying. I think they're going to share this backfield a little bit more than it's been the past year or two with Montgomery. But I mean, McCaffrey's definitely my pick. Regardless, if he's playing, I'm playing CMC. But if he doesn't, I would go Herbert. But Gordon's, I guess, good too.
I kind of feel like this question's a little ironic because Herbert owners are about to suffer the same pain that Gordon owners have been suffering.
Right. Right. We're going to start seeing a lot more of these RBBCs too. Like I said, we're getting to the time of year where it starts getting colder, injuries start becoming more prevalent. You really got to you want to lean on these guys as volume plays, but then we look at Derrick Henry and see what happens. Although that's, to me, it's not a fault. That was more of a fluke thing because he broke a bone in his foot. But anyways,
you don't think 600 touches in 2 seasons contributed to him breaking his foot?
I do think a little bit. Yeah, no, I mean, but you see what I'm saying, right? It's not like something that would be like considered a wear and tear injury, in my opinion. You know, like breaking things to me isn't a wear and tear thing as far as like pulling things, stressing things, snapping things, like, you know, tendons and things of that nature. But
unless it was more of a stress fracture, but I'm not sure that that's what that was. I don't think it was.
Right. We got I am Billiam Kyle. I am Billiam says Kyle Pitts versus the Saints or Mike G versus Houston. I'm Ron Burgundy still.
All right, so Mike G, who does he mean by that?
Mike Gesicki. I'm assuming we're
Mike-
looking at the tight end
yeah.
Okay,
position.
so he's looking for a tight end here, and I mean,
How do
yeah,
you sit Pitts?
go with Pitts? Yeah, like why not? I mean,
'Cause
Gesicki's been
Gesicki's
playing
been good.
really well. Yeah, Gesicki's been doing really good, and he has a good matchup. So I understand the situation. I understand the thought here, but without Ridley there, Pitts has an opportunity to open up even more. So, and without Ridley, Pitts has still been playing well. So it's not like one of those things where Ridley's defenders are just slowly moving over to Pitts. Yeah, I think I'm still going to go with Pitts. It is a tough decision, a lot tougher than it looks like on paper when you first look at it.
I can agree with that, but for me, it's not even really close. I have Kyle Pitts rated pretty high today. How about you, Alex? Did you mention on that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Gesicki. I think the
Interesting.
Falcons' offense is now gonna have to funnel through Kyle Pitts and Cordero Patterson, but Patterson's not out there on every play, so Pitts is going to be getting all of the attention in the from the secondary, and I'm pretty sure Lattimore is going to be on him all day, and that matchup kind of scares me. And with the Dolphins going against Houston, I have no problems with that secondary. So I'd actually I think Gesicki is the safer play because Pitts could go for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, or he could go for 2 catches for 21 yards like Mike Evans usually does against Lattimore. I think he's much more boom bust today, where Gesicki, he's going to have Brissett in there, and Gesicki is a nice little safety net over the middle, and Brissett can throw that far to get Gesicki involved. So I'd probably go with Mike Gesicki. Kyle Pitts kind of scares me today. I mean, I'm rolling him out in most of the spots I have him, but I also don't have Gesicki, sitting there behind him because he's been getting a good amount of work and has been, relatively consistent for most of the year now. So,
I like him if Tua's in there, not as much with Brissett being the quarterback right there.
That he did better with Brissett than when Tua's been in. Fair
enough. I don't know. I really like seeing what he was doing the past couple of weeks. That is for sure. I'm definitely getting more and more involved. We got Isaac Lama. He says, who do you start if you have no other running backs? Derek Gore, David Johnson, or Devonta Freeman? Or Frank Gore Jr., as I like to call him.
I mean, is Marshall Faulk available?
Right.
Oh, man. This is I guess Derek Gore. He's the only one I think out of these three that I could see having a potential breakout of any kind. Like, we know what we know with David Johnson and Devonta Freeman, and if Gore is slowly getting more and more carries and more looks, then maybe he gets a little more this week too, and he becomes a little more valuable at least. So I guess I'm going to go with Derek Gore.
I would go with David Johnson with Tyrod coming back. I think that just elevates the whole offense just a little bit. Maybe even a little bit of a running threat. I know he had a hammy, so maybe they'll try to, maybe he'll try to keep that back. But then he'll need the little dump offs out of the, the checkdowns and stuff, and that's where David Johnson was making his hay at the beginning of the year. So
and Mark Ingram left.
Yeah, so I'd probably roll with David Johnson. I think he has the more guaranteed volume than Derek. I liked what I saw out of Derek Gore, but again, he's going against the Packers run defense, which has been pretty solid, and we just don't know what that backfield's going to look like. Just because that's what it looked like last week doesn't mean that they go back to Darrell Williams. Devonta Freeman's the odd man out for me, though. I wouldn't roll with him whatsoever.
Yeah, I do agree that David Johnson definitely has that better floor. So I guess let me restate it. If you need the safe play, go with David Johnson. But I still feel like touchdown upside, potential for a big game. I don't think David Johnson gets you more than probably 15 points at the very most, 12 to 15 points even in PPR. So Derek Gore maybe potentially could get you more than that with a couple of touchdowns. So I'm still going to roll with Gore, but that's an upside play.
Yeah, in this instance, I feel like that Green Bay defense scares me just enough where I'm going to probably also agree with the David Johnson play. I think David Johnson with Tyrod Taylor is a lot more successful, a lot better. So definitely don't mind rolling him out there. We got Lindsay _K6 running back to start today. PPR, we got Dylan Pollard or Javonte Williams. Who we starting, guys?
I'm probably going to. This one's a toughie. I'd probably stick with Javonte Williams though, because although he's splitting the backfield touches, we know he's going to split pretty much 50-50 with Melvin Gordon. So, because that's what they've been doing all year. Gordon goes out, gets the first series. Javonte gets the second series. If I could bet on that, I would bet on that because that's what they've done almost every single game this year. And then it's, then they mix them in, here and there. But it's pretty much a 50-50 split. So I feel like Javonte has the better guaranteed volume for me.
I think this one's close for me, but I think the Cowboys go up big early, and we see a lot of Pollard in the second half. I think a lot of garbage time points here for Pollard to put him over Javonte, but I don't hate the Javonte play here either because that's speculation on the Pollard end. That's a narrative play. So I'm a narrative guy. I love to watch my stories unfold in front of me, even if I'm wrong and I get the wrong ending of the story. but I'm going to roll with Pollard.
Yep, I'm with you. Actually going to roll with Pollard right here as well. For the same reasons I like Pollard are the same reasons I don't like Javonte Williams, and that's exactly what you're saying. I feel like they're going to be playing a lot in a negative game script today. Now, there is something to be said. If Denver can win this game, it's only going to be by slowing down that clock. But I honestly I don't feel like Denver's really in pursuit to win anymore. I think they're starting to look at the future. We'll start seeing some tanking coming out of the Denver Broncos into football because they know they need to have a quarterback. I heard they had like 5 reps to go check out. Goodness sakes, Malik guy,
Willis.
Malik Willis. There you go. I heard that there was 5 reps looking at him.
If the Broncos could play the Jets and Jaguars and Giants every week, they'd still be.
They'd be unstoppable. They'd be Super Bowl champions. At K_Niederberg says, do we play McNichols or Boston Scott today? I like Boston Scott, but I feel like I'm leaning McNichols here. How about you guys?
Yeah, so I have Boston Scott in my main league where I've had a ton of injuries, and I have to start him this week, and I'm not upset that I have to start him this week. The Chargers' run defense has been horrible all season, and as much as you've heard me talk highly of McNichols all day, I just love the matchup for Boston Scott today. Even with a split, I think they even split in the goal line. Like that's where Howard has been getting his points is down in the goal line. But even down in the goal line, they're splitting carries. Everywhere else, though, it's Boston Scott. They're not splitting between the 20s. So Scott's still getting the majority of the workload in a really good matchup. So I'm going to go with Boston Scott.
Yeah, this one's interesting because Philly's playing the Chargers, who are a run funnel defense. They'll let you run pretty much whatever you want to or whenever you want to, and then stop you in the passing game. Hope you make mistakes. All that fun stuff.
Which Philly probably will.
yeah. But that gives and apparently Boston Scott's the guy. The guy they go to, now that Sanders is down. But I think I'm going to go with McNichols. I think that's the safer play for me because he's, how much work is AP going to get on, 3 days with the team? So I think McNichols has the higher set for volume. And because of their game, they're going to need that pass catching out of the backfield, so I feel like he's going to get a decent amount of checkdowns too. So I'm going to roll with McNichols.
I can actually answer that question. How much work is AP going to get 3 days with the team? It's roughly about the same as what he's going to get 3 weeks with the team. Kenny Golladay is active. Sam Darnold is the starter. Just to kind of catch up on some of the news here, and then Latavius Murray inactive again. Sammy Watkins inactive.
The Bears released Brashad Perryman just in case you guys were wondering.
Surprise. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I'm getting so far.
Gotcha. We'll get these last few questions out of the way, boys, and we'll get this wrapped up. We got at Judas Priest bench Sutton and Claypool for Kadarius Toney and Beasley today. I might be benching Claypool for Beasley. What about you guys? I'm playing Sutton though.
I think Sutton has had a pretty good season. I think a lot of it has been because of the matchups he's had, to be honest with you. But in this situation, I think he's my must start out of these 4. So I'm still going to roll with Sutton here, and then probably Beasley. But I'm kind of splitting hairs between those last 3. I'm just not sold on Claypool. I've got to see more. Like I want to see more of what we saw last season. Hopefully this is just a sophomore slump and he bounces back next season. But also hopefully he has a quarterback next season.
I was going to say I think it's a Big Ben problem.
Yeah.
I don't think he's getting him the kind of targets that he's going to be most successful with. He's been doing a lot of over the middle stuff, which is all right, but it doesn't leave a lot of room for all that yak. I think he'd prefer to get one right on the sideline, let that defender go right past him, and then take it to the house. I think that's what Claypool's looking for. But I'm going to go with Sutton, and if it's full PPR, I'll go with Beasley. If it's anything but full PPR, I'm going to roll with Toney.
Yeah, no, I like that. Like I said, for me, I'm playing Sutton for sure. And then for me, I'm going to be playing Beasley. I love Claypool. I do. I think he's an awesome talent. I think he's fast. He's great. Same with Kadarius Toney. I just keep seeing that guy go out. And Beasley's just been a PPR monster. I mean, that guy has done one thing, and it's one thing well, and that's just a PPR dominant guy. We got at Tiny Dorito Boy with the last question. He says, gross question. Boston Scott or Tony Pollard? And Alex, since it's gross, we're going to let you lead this one off.
Okay.
For no particular reason.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the narrative street for Pollard, getting some work in the second half, but I think Boston Scott's going to get work all throughout the game. I think he's going to be the main guy there. And like I was saying, that the Chargers run defense, they're going to let you get pretty much whatever you want on the ground and make Jalen Hurts beat them. So I'm going to go with Boston Scott here. I think he's got the safer floor and probably the higher upside.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah, nope, same here. I think, although I do love me some Tony Pollard and a positive game script, I do think you guys are right. I think they're going to have to get Boston Scott involved, especially against that weak defense. So do you guys have anything else you'd like to add for the day here? Do you have any other
Nope, I don't think so.
No, nothing to add there. Any more news or everything? We're all caught up there too, and we're all caught up on our questions. So all that I'm going to do is remind everybody to get out there, toiletstotitles.com. Again, you're going to see articles in there. It looks so professional, it looks so good now, especially as it started and just kind of progressed. We have our guy Andrew Campy on the job, and he's just been a stud. And then we got people like Eric out there making articles all the time, and there's just awesome articles. These are the guys, man. I'm telling you, you're going to want to follow Toilets to Titles because that's where it's going to take. It's going to take you from the toilet to the titles. Get on that Patreon, $3 a month, man. That's all it is. You can get on there, get on that Discord. $10 a month, well worth that money though, boys. And whoever is paying that $10 a month and getting that extra service, they'll definitely agree with that. And just make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell, and do all that fun stuff. Until then, guys, it's week 9. Let's go win us some championships, because it all starts right here, right now. Let's get through that home stretch. Justin, Alex, as always, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And let's tear it up. Let's win week 9, guys. Let's do this thing.